at Radio Free America. This is Uncle Sam with music and the truth until dawn. Right now, I got a few words for some of our brothers and sisters in the occupied zone. The chair is against the wall. The chair is against the wall. John has a long mustache. John has a long mustache. It's 12 o'clock, Americans, another day closer to victory. And for all of you out there on or behind the lines, this is your song.
And welcome everybody to our Daily Gun Show. Come to you live each weeknight at midnight Eastern to talk about guns for an hour. Driving us all goofy here. So we got people jumping in. We got Open-Faced Hot Dog Sandwich just jumped in from Pennsylvania. State of Open-Faced Hot Dog Sandwiches.
Hey, thanks for the link, G.
Thanks for jumping in. Then we have the Bacon Sandwich coming in from the other side of the country in Washington. Thanks for jumping in.
Yeah, thanks for the link, G.
Then we got the potato and bacon. Is it potato skins with bacon on them, or is it some sort of potato sandwich with bacon in it? Coming in from Michigan. Thanks for joining.
Yeah, hey, what's up?
And I don't think there is bacon in Oklahoma. Oh, wait, no, there is. You got Hugo's customer coming in from Oklahoma. No,
they hog all the bacon now, but thanks for the invite.
And I'm in Arizona. So we got a couple of things to talk about because it is Thursday. Oh, it's training day. So we don't have anything to talk about. I'm going to change the topic from training because I don't like it. We got a couple of things we could talk about and then see what's going on because it's kind of a late day and we'll see who else shows up. So anything going on? Anything in any of the warm-up shows worth watching, talking about? Going back. Watching.
I didn't get a chance to watch a whole lot today. Yankee was on fire today in his chat, that's for sure. He was all up in arms about everything, it seemed like.
What was he upset about?
Oh, I don't know. Appendix carry and trying to get somebody on the show, and everybody was just razzing him in the audience, you know what I mean? Trying to get somebody on to debate whether somebody that likes appendix carry wants to kind of debate him. You know what I mean?
He wants
he
that.
hates it so much.
He doesn't want, or nobody will.
They got one guy, maybe I guess now, Honest Outlaw, might come on and talk about that. And then they were talking about the C-clamp grip on ARs too. That weird super forward grip that looks uncomfortable as hell. I've never tried it myself.
Yeah, that's called rifle isosceles. So have you ever held a pistol out in front of you?
Yeah.
Right. So do you use the Weaver stance where you keep one arm a little bit straighter and the other arm crook? Or do you keep running?
Yeah.
You use Weaver. Okay.
Yeah.
You've seen people that use isosceles?
I've seen it, yeah. I've tried it both ways. I just naturally tend to go to what you call what Weaver is, yeah.
Right.
I'm not sure why. And I guess that in part has like I'm right-handed, so my right foot stays back too a little bit, which I don't always think that's the best, but it's just kind of how it naturally happens for me, you know, so I'm just go with it.
All right, since we're talking training, I guess we could talk about this stuff. The Weaver's big guy. He was a big, strong dude, and he was a competitive shooter, if I remember the story. And isosceles was an option. Remember how back in the olden days, like when Bob was shooting, they would shoot revolvers with one hand extended to the side, and then they'd put their other hand in the pocket sometimes, right? Mm-hmm. You've seen World War II shooting. So that's revolvers. It comes from, think of the balance of like an old single action revolver, like how much weight there is out front. The way that grip works on a single action revolver, it pulls against your forearms. I mean, they had nothing else to do but to hold those revolvers a whole bunch while they were filing them down. So there's ultimate ergonomics in an old single action revolver. When you extend your arm as a skeleton, as a human body, like that's incorporated into it, right? So that's that. I don't know what that articulature of our skeleton is called. There's a technical name for that, but that is, I mean, ergonomics, I guess, but there's more to it than that. That's what happens when you shoot a single action revolver. So when you do that, you know, the recoil and everything is all in there. When they were shooting their double action revolvers in the day, what I understand is they just evolved into, from that. That's what they were used to shooting. So that was an accurate way of shooting. Well, people get old, and who wants to extend their arm like that? That's pretty far away. So they figured out if they bring it over in front of them, that it's a little easier to see the sights. And depending on what they're fighting, if they're fighting olden days, somebody on the other side of a field, you got all day to aim. You kind of have to aim, right? You're shooting a squirrel or something, you can aim. But if you're shooting other guys on the side of an island and they're coming at you with semi-autos and machine guns and stuff, you don't got all this time to extend your arm out and aim, right? So now you're doing a lot more close quarter stuff. So that's where you get the isosceles, I think, came in from, towards the end of World War II, maybe Korea, that kind of thing. So isosceles wasn't great for Weaver because he felt like it was too much of a strain. And I guess you could say it is. But isosceles is the idea of having your two hands reach out in front of you and having that gun pretty much as an isosceles triangle out in front of you. So both arms are extended, again locking the arms kind of, but then just not quite locking them, but basically getting some benefit of our skeleture, whatever the word is, and our muscle mass, right? When you shoot Weaver, though, that guy was like, oh, this isn't working for me because I need to hustle around and whatnot. So he came up with the idea of having one arm stiff and the other arm supporting it. And that works really good if you got a big ass arm that can handle the recoil of the gun, and then your other hand can just kind of point it around like, to assist it. But most people, even though that may seem comfortable, most people ain't able to guerrilla a gun like that. So for most instructors that I've seen have a lot of students, one of the ways you can factor in instructors how many students they've had come through, and their curriculum will typically reflect, the median or the, what the most students can find useful. You'll see those kind of instructors teach isosceles because that's a consistent shooting platform that you use the benefits of your body no matter what it is. It could even be injured, where Weaver kind of depends on either right-handed or left-handed, depends on musculature, and then it doesn't necessarily apply to the other side as easily, where with isosceles you're right in the middle. So I don't know if that explains isosceles versus Weaver or not, but isosceles also with armor.
No, that's a good way to describe it. Yeah.
So with armor, police, military, Weaver's a pain in the butt because your arms aren't usually long enough. So isosceles also gives you an advantage of putting the gun, which is usually what gets hit in a gunfight, right in front of your armor plate and not over to the side of your armor where you got a big gap, right? So Weaver is kind of deadly if you're wearing armor. You want to go isosceles and present your front plate to the bad guy. So, so that takes the rounds. And when you take all that into consideration, that a lot of time cops and stuff are using isosceles. Now, when you get really into technique, you want consistency, right? So how do you get consistency? Out of isosceles, you get consistency by bringing your two hands to the front, because they're always the same two hands. You're grabbing the gun. They pretty much come together at the same place. Then you cram your head down into your shoulders, and that gives you a pretty good lockup. A lot of instructors will teach that sort of kind of a locked up position. Depending on, everybody's got their own opinions of everything. Everything works for some people. Some things don't work for anybody. But you also got the potential benefit of if you're getting clobbered in that position, you're locked up. You're tense. So all your tense is bringing it to the gun and giving your gun stability. So anyway, there's all these potential benefits of isosceles, and if you agree with all those, now take the gun and put it in your right hand, and take your left hand, or excuse me, take your gun and leave it in your left hand. So if you're right-handed, take your shooting grip off of your pistol, right? And now you've left your gun in your left hand in this isosceles position. You're with me?
Mm-hmm.
So taking our pistol out, we put it in isosceles, so it's in front of us, and we've now taken our right hand off of it, and we've left the gun in our left hand. So it's now hanging out in space with our left hand. Now replace that pistol with a rifle, and now put your hand back on the gun, and that's going to go up to the pistol grip, and that's called rifle isosceles. And what that does on an AR-15 is put the articulature, what's the word for getting your bones locked up in a useful way? Same way you would in kind of sports. I'm sure they do it in sports for like golf swings and stuff. If Ghost was in here, he could probably tell us, like, there's methods that people use to get consistency out of their own muscles and bones, and in a way that doesn't require muscle to that could fatigue, right? So anyway, you get your left hand out there in a way where it's not locked, but it's extended to where the tension on the muscles keeps it in a not an anchor, but in a what's the word? It's attaching. It's an anchor point to the gun, and then with an AR-15, you're basically shooting a mass. The bolt carrier is the mass running through an aluminum tube. So if you can lock that aluminum tube into your shoulder, and then hold that thing out with your arm extended. Now, I can't do it. I can't shoot rifle isosceles because rifles ain't long enough for me. Like regular ARs ain't long enough for me. But most people, when they go out to the end of a mid-length or a rifle length, depending on, or a mid-length or a carbine length, depending on how big you are compared to your gun and where you put your stock, then what you can do is lock that AR-15 into your shoulder in a way that you've now locked out any of the movement of that bolt carrier. Now, it's not the same as like M1 carbine, which you'd hold differently because it's got a different recoil impulse. It's different than an M1, Rand or something. But for an AR-15 specifically, the guys have figured out that from competition shooting, where they figured out that's the fastest way to acquire targets when you're moving, that it also turns out to be the best way to just own the recoil of an AR-15 and take it out of the picture. And it looks silly, I guess, but that's usually from people who don't understand it and think it's for flash because they saw it on a YouTube or on a DVD somewhere, and they never got it shown it correctly, I guess, so that they can appreciate it. But when you see somebody who knows what they're doing, who is resistant to it, and then they learn, from a coach who actually shows them how to do it, very few of them disregard it after that. Once they see that it allows you to, I guess the concept is, if you were to hold a fire hose, where would you hold a fire hose in order to aim it? Would you hold it like way the fuck back, or would you hold it right next to the nozzle? It's the idea of holding your gun closer to the nozzle and at the same time locking it into your other shoulder, so that now you can kind of pivot like a turret, as opposed to wiggling your arm all around and twisting your torso. So now you're at the mercy of your muscle, and you're going to get a lot of swing back. And when you're trying to get rounds on multiple targets, it's more efficient. It's less over travel.
Well, I know with pistol, I feel like isosceles, I always felt like it was, like you said, kind of stiff and tense. So I kind of went towards, I guess, a Weaver stance. As I'm getting a little bit older with work and stuff, I'm having, some carpal tunnel issues with my hands and some issues with like strength in my hands. Not always, but depending on how my day's been. So I feel like probably older people might gravitate more towards isosceles because of that, and recoil mitigation, like you were talking about with, the recoil traveling through both hands and arms rather than just one. And if you're shooting a 380 or a 9mm and you're shooting isosceles, you're maybe, like the barrel's probably like an inch closer to the target, and that's a big deal if you're shooting little tiny calibers like that.
One thing I'll kind of add is I never had shot a rifle with the C-clamp hold or anything till recently, because I never had one with a full-length handguard on it, and I just recently put one on one of my ARs, a 15-inch handguard. And I actually decided it was a little faster and switching between targets, and it was a lot more accurate for me, and it stayed on target better as you shot it.
I mean, it doesn't apply to everything because people don't shoot their shotguns that way. But maybe they would if they built the shotgun a little differently. I don't know if it'd make them any faster or not.
I mean, some shotguns do. I know I have, like, if you look at some of the Benellis, and like I have a Stevens 320. That the hand grip on that is huge. It's it's like a double. It's like two. It kind of comes down a little bit at the back, but it's really long in the front. So I mean, maybe that's why they're doing that for taller people or people that are trying to do that. I don't know. I don't know if that's what their thinking was, or if they thought it was more visual, like they thought it looked cool. Who knows?
Well, actually, it's going to be a little bit different on shotgun too, I guess, because you don't have a follow-up shot really the same way. You don't have to worry about something moving in there and feeding and all that kind of stuff.
Well, especially a pump, because you're going to be coming. I mean, you're not going to. I mean, you can stay, I guess, pretty much on target with a pump if you practice a lot, but most people are coming off target pretty far while they're pumping. You know.
Now that I'm thinking about it, when I shoot shotgun, or I don't know. That's been a while, but people will hold their shotgun and then point with their left hand or with their other hand. So they do kind of. It's not necessarily an isosceles, I guess, in the sense that you're crouching into it, but I don't know. It kind of is really, because you are kind of depending on how long your shotgun is. I'm shooting the over and under more than anything when I'm shooting shotgun, so I'm not thinking about pumping just where I was holding it. But I wasn't really.
I've only ever shot pump. I've never shot an over and under. So. Yeah,
they're not as bad as you'd think. There's Russian. Thanks for whoever did that. There's Russian. What are they called? Bakhail. They were inexpensive. They came over as imports, and they had a lot of the features of a good over and under, but they were like, I think 200 when they first came over. Or, anyway, they got down to 250. Maybe they're hovering in the 4s now. A lot cheaper than a typical over and under.
Yeah,
I've been looking at over and unders for my son because, like I've been saying, he's just started this trap shooting, and that's what he really wants because he shot somebody else's, and he's just determined that he needs that. And there's several, like Academy has several around 400.
Okay, are they Russian or are they imports or are they?
They're imports. I don't know what they're Yildiz or something. I don't know where they're made. I haven't even looked into
Turkish.
it.
Might be Turkish.
Yeah.
I haven't done any research on him at all yet because he ain't getting it till probably Christmas.
But
so.
Clover owns one, and he speaks fairly highly of it. So.
Well, he looked at them at Academy, and they look pretty nice. But like I said, I got till Christmas to research it, so.
I don't believe you can buy an American-made over and under anymore.
Well, Ruger.
What about Browning?
I don't know about Browning. Might be made in Belgium. They make all this shit in Belgium.
Oh, yeah.
Didn't Mossberg make a over and under? Or do they still?
Yeah, even theirs is an import, I'm pretty sure.
Oh, yeah. Is it?
Or something, right?
I've never researched over and unders at all. Oh, Clover said Ruger quit in 2013. There's no U.S. made ones.
Oh, okay. Yeah, so there you go. That probably because there wasn't enough market for it, which is sad because I think shotgun shooting sports are some of the funnest.
Yeah, and I really like shooting over and under. I hadn't shot one till recently, and I think they're pretty neat to shoot, really. All my life, it was just pumps.
Yeah, that's all I've ever shot as a pump.
Well, growing up, I actually had a flip-up barrel single shot, but that don't count.
So that was a little bit of stance, I guess. And now we're going to move into the member of the day. So every day we try to feature one of the members over on Gun Channels. And today it's KMAbeaver. I'm guessing nobody in here knows Beaver.
Nope.
So you would have if he was still around because he was a nighttime chatter for sure. I think he either worked the night shift or the super early shifts or whatever it was. Like this was his daytime. And we used to call them after shows. So the primetime shows would end. And somewhere around now we would have these after shows and he would jump into the late part of the after show. So you guys have been around for an after show of, I don't know if you all have or not. I think you all have. They can either be much nerd chats or they can be just kind of general all chats, or sometimes they can get into it. And he was always kind of jumping in, at the mid to the, really into the midst of the big conversation. It's like Yankee used to hang out a lot and Bosch. So if you get the right day or if you get the right, I don't know, such circumstances with those two in the room, it can be crazy. And there was lots of people that, would also kind of dig those conversations. They would get kind of interesting. anyway, so he was one of the nighttime crew, and he's one of the people that supports gun channels to this day. So up in the woods area of the world, right by a Yankee somewhere. I think he knows Yankee. And then he did old-fashioned stuff. What's that called? SAS. So he would post quite a few pictures. There's pictures up. He probably started a channel for it, and he shared with everybody his interest and abilities in that SAS stuff. It's kind of neat.
Well, if he's from Washington, he must be great.
I don't know if it's Washington or good. I'm pretty sure it's Washington. We've had Blue Phoenix on before, but we can do it again. Thanks for recommending somebody. So I was going to say, I've been posting stuff over on the Gun Channel's Patreon. And if anybody's interested in working with the Gun Channel's Patreon, let me know. If anybody's interested in working with the Gun Channel's Instagram, let me know. I put up a couple of help wanted ads on the Gun Channel's Patreon. It's not help wanted like we're going to pay you, but it's help wanted like get on the team and help grow gun channels. One of the things we're looking for is somebody to do some outreach, reach out to people that are out there that are doing content and let them know we're here. I think I was wandering around on Gunstream. I probably already mentioned it on the show. And I found the coolest podcast. This guy's got, I think, 60 podcasts already, and he's interviewed everybody cool in the Second Amendment realm we've never heard of before, and just done really cool interviews with them. And he doesn't do anything flashy, and he's just kind of got a really, nothing flashy at all about any of his stuff. But he's out there kicking, and I'm like, dang, he's doing this by himself. At least let him know about gun channels. So I'm thinking it would be cool to maybe find somebody like that to have someone that they can alert at gun channels who would be interested in going out and sending out some welcomes or something, and then if they do show up or ask any questions, they could answer them, or if they had any needed to look around or something, or if you just want to help take a look at gun channels and figure out how it could be better spruced up or changed to be better for new members, but not necessarily trying to grow gun channels like you needed to be the new Facebook. But on the other hand, strategic growth is what it's all about, and having somebody who can do some outreach would be great. I'll keep talking about other things on other days, otherwise I can keep going and going. But if you want to check out the Gun Channel's Patreon, and every once in a while when I come up with something like today, No posted a thing about some coffee company did a video about the dogs of the people that work there because they let their dogs come to work. And I'm thinking, we got nothing but video editors over here, people that like to make videos and stuff. Why don't we have a Dogs of Gun Channels video? All they'd have to do is go to the Gun Channel and say, post pictures of dogs, videos of dogs. You'd have all the video you want. Sit around, edit it up. Maybe do one of those every once in a while, or some kind of contest or something. So if anybody wants to be creative with stuff like that, let us know. If you have ideas that can make gun channels more fun, let me know. We post them in there. Or if you want to be part of that, and it doesn't pay you nothing except for the satisfaction of growing a cool place.
I think that's something. I mean, that's something I do a lot under other people's videos when I have answer somebody's question or hop in a comment under somebody else's video. Is, hey, have you heard of Gun Channel's got comments really cool? I think you'd like it. I think that's an awesome thing to do. I don't know how many other people do that, on a regular, but just something simple, not like pushy, not whatever, but hey, have you heard of this place? It's really cool, man. I think you'd dig it,
Maybe 6 sentences, no periods, no capitalization. You should come to Gun Channels. Gun Channels is excellent. If Gun Channels is the best place, you should be here. Why aren't you at Gun Channels already? And then at the end.
Exclamation point, question mark, and a smiley face. Bam. They're members. That's all you got to do.
I feel like you're probably doing a really good job, right? And then they're like, wow, this Gun Channel's place seems awesome. And then you're like, yeah, that's great. What I'm going to do is enjoy a nice open-faced hot dog sandwich, and then I'll leave. And they're like, this guy's off his rocker. And they never show up.
Next thing you know, I'm banning people left and right, man. It's horrible. Brutal. Maybe I'm not the best flagship channel. Maybe not.
I thought he was going to say every time he grilled a steak, he branded a Gun Channels logo in it as he was grilling it.
That would be
cool.
Yeah, you can get those made. You should get one of those made, G. You're a vegetarian now. But you can do it on like a carrot or something. Gun Channels branded tofu. Tofurkey.
So that was the member of the day. So nobody remembers Beaver. He comes around occasionally, and again, that's one of the other things. I think I posted the last one. And Ghost said something like, "Hey, you need help?" I'm like, "Yeah, what am I posting the post for?" But if somebody wants to go help round up some of the old members, I can give them some help with that, and trying to find out where these people are. Maybe do some sort of where they are today kind of thing, or invite them back, get the show going or something. So if anybody wants, feel free. Gun Channel's a big place. Everybody's welcome to play around with it. All right, so what should we do next? We got, I don't know when we started. Let's say 9:30-ish.
Yeah, it was like 22 minutes ago or something. 24 minutes ago, it says.
All right, well, we've got a shop here for our gun shop of the day. It looks like it's on Instagram. So, see, posted this. Screen share. Looks like it was Clay posted this shop. Looks pretty super cool.
Oh, that does look cool. I'm all about anything old like that.
It says, if you ever find yourself in East Bay, I don't know what that means. Is that San Francisco? I don't know what East Bay means. So there you go. Where does it tell us in a little description thing? No. So that's our shop today. And so I'll show our secrets. It says located in El Cerrito, California. Old West Gun Room is the best shop in the East Bay for buying and selling new and used antique firearms. Very knowledgeable and offers honest and fair deals. Let's grab that website. Oh, dang. Did I just screen share all our secrets? Damn it. So there's the website. I think we've looked at this one before. Founded in 53. One guy sold the business to this guy in 63. 69, he bought another building. Moved to that.
Does anybody know where that town is off the top of their head? What part of
Oh,
California?
No, oh, here we go.
Oh, never mind.
San
Francisco.
Yeah. So Smeggy has to go there. He's in San Francisco right now.
Looks like a pretty cool place. Be cooler if it wasn't in California, probably. Seems like they'd be kind of limited on a neat store like that.
Every day we try to feature a gun shop, though, so we'll be featuring a bunch here once I'm on the road. If anybody's got any suggestions, I posted a couple of things on Instagram on both the channels. Gotten a bunch of suggestions so far. It's got a fairly accurate, idea of where we're going to be. So if you see something along that path or close by, always appreciate it. Got a couple of good ideas so far. That one of these days I'll go through and harvest all the ideas off there, put them on a map, and see how close they all are. And what it's all about. A lot of the best ones I found are suggestions from people. I guess since we're talking that kind of stuff, I need somebody to run the show. So hopefully somebody out there that has some time in the evenings will be interested in being part of the show and turning it on, basically. Because when I'm out on the road, definitely would be a help to have somebody who can start the show and stop the show. So I don't know if somebody wants to do that. Get with me. And I don't know. Is there anything else? Oh shit, my TV just turned off. So I guess that's telling me that we've been going for too long. Anything else?
Not that I can think of. Does anybody have a quote?
I had a quote from yesterday, yeah.
We didn't do history yet.
Oh, yeah, do history.
What's today? 30th?
The 30th. (1962), Japan conducts the test of some aircraft I ain't gonna try to pronounce. It's the first aircraft since World War II, and it's only successful commercial aircraft from before or after the war.
The first one is 1645. Dutch and Indian signed the peace treaty in New Amsterdam, which is New York now. William Penn left England to the New World. He took along an insurance policy. 1682. Today in 1780, Benedict Arnold betrayed the U.S. when he promised secretly to surrender the fort at West Point to the British Army. The other guy was hanged. So that was today, Benedict Arnold Day.
Thurgood, 1967, Thurgood Marshall is confirmed as the first African American justice of the Supreme Court of the United States.
Usually they highlight the stuff that's cool, but in this one, it's a whole bunch of stuff highlighted that isn't all that interesting.
Yeah. 1963, the Moscow-Washington hotline between the leaders of the U.S. and the Soviet Union goes into operation.
Did you guys already say in 45, Art MacArthur lands in Japan to oversee the formal surrender of the Japanese government?
No, it didn't.
1945, today, German people signed a proclamation to the German people is signed today, formally announcing the establishment of Allied control and assumption of supreme authority in Germany. So, end of the war.
Oh, 1992, the 11-day Ruby Ridge standoff ends with Randy Weaver surrendering.
Oh, okay. We've been talking about that one when it started. It seemed like a while ago. 11 days. Can you imagine having a at you for 11 days?
He had been shot too on like the second day, or the second day, I think. I don't remember.
Which goes to show why you should have a trauma kit.
Oh, maybe he did. Maybe that's why he made it so long. I don't know how bad he was shot.
I don't either.
So today in 1968, in what would later be called a police riot, a 4-day Democratic National Convention and its accompanying violence and mayhem comes to a close as 668 people are arrested, 111 are injured, mostly by police overreaction. So was that well, I guess that was, or what the hell was that? Was that can't think of the damn name of the school.
I do not know.
Say today, 1984, the Space Shuttle Discovery takes off on its maiden voyage.
I didn't even see that.
In 1993, 50 Rangers stage a raid in search of some guy, warlord in Somalia. 50 Rangers? I wouldn't want 50 Rangers after me.
Do they really need 50 Rangers to catch somebody?
Probably wanted them.
That dude must have been pretty serious.
Apparently.
Looks like 11 Medal of Honors today. A lot of stuff. We keep looking at this place called This Day in Mill History. It's a website that's been around for a while and it's just been sitting there, but since all the dates are there, it's got all the interesting anniversaries.
It's funny how you get on like two different websites and they have, you know, some of the same stuff, but some of it's totally different for the same.
Yeah, the one I was using before was like just general history, and then I think that horse found this one. It's way better, specific to military stuff.
You know, which I usually look at that one when you have the link in, but I usually pull up just a general one that I've just used this day in history thing, and you know, has a little bit of both. But it's always neat to see. You'll see something in that year, and then you won't see this another thing happen the same day.
I was just looking over here. I think I'd sent you a link, Patriot. It was that link in front of that one. All right. Well, again, appreciate everybody joining us live. We'll be doing this next couple of days, kind of the same time, and then figure out how to adapt and be on the road. And see, somebody's got a quote from yesterday.
Yeah, I had one that I saw from Vladimir Lenin, and he said, "One man with a gun can control over 100 without them." Thought that was saying from somebody that's a communist. That's a hell of a statement, you know.
You know,
The guys and gals of gunwebsites.com encourage you to take a CCW class every year, practice at least once a month, and carry every day. Thanks for watching gunwebsites.com.